What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, everybody? We got a full house up in here.
He's just bouncing around, just a bouncing.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry. Joe in the building. Miss Tiffany's in the building. The king himself is in the building. We got all in tanks. Miss Lori, what's up, everybody? It is lagging over here. It is lagging. We got Mrs. Funk in the building. Hashtag good vibes. What? I mean, it's double. I'm going to just say hashtag because I don't normally do hashtags. What is that? Is that a smiley face on that type? Good vibes. All right. Lefty's in the building. Appreciate y'all so much for being here.
I don't know. Might have been doing a lot of TikTok, so she got weird new lingo.
Oh, I was about to say that. Is that different? Like, I didn't know if that was different.
Her and Olivia have been doing a lot of TikTok. A lot of TikTok.
I heard that's a new thing. Is that real? Do you watch all the TikToks?
Yeah.
What up, Larry? Thank you, Miss Lori, for saying that. Hit that like button, please, and thank you if you can. Much love. I appreciate that. Doing water changes. I feel you, Miss Tiffany.
Oh, hold the hell up, Rob. What's wrong with you, man?
What?
You didn't do your thing.
What?
Your money sign is not there.
Oh, so?
So nothing. I wanted to be the
I'm
first
still
one.
in the works of this, dude. Like, I'm still like,
told me that. Oh man, he didn't turn it on. Everybody, hey, Rob 93 is officially monetized and didn't turn on his monetization button for super chats. I wanted to be the first one to leave a super chat.
I know. I couldn't super chat bigs because my dang card is expired. I'm waiting for my new one.
Okay, but mine's not. I don't care about your card. I'm talking about I might have was gonna put some money on your books.
No, don't worry. Thank you though. I appreciate for those who have congratulated me. For those who don't know, yes, I did get monetized. Thank y'all so much for those.
And you didn't put his super chat thing up there.
Thank you for all those trolls. I appreciate y'all. It's been amazing for y'all to be able to troll me and get all those watch hours. That's amazing. So what we're going to do is get on with that because guess what? We got a special guest on the live stream tonight.
I should punch you right in your throat. Who we at tonight?
Big Adam's apple right here. See it?
Who we got on? Look, I don't want to see your face right now. I want to see somebody else.
All right, so what we're gonna do is bring our special guest on tonight, and it's a special honor to have this person because he's gonna go down in history, y'all. Especially when y'all check out his channel. He does sporadically put up content, but I guarantee you, once he starts getting back into it, he will put more out. For those who don't know him, what's up, Mr. Keith? Out of the blue aquariums, what's up, dude?
Rob, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for having me on, man. What's up, everybody?
You know it,
thanks for having me on, guys. This should be fun.
How's things up there in Canada?
Keep it safe, man. The hustle and grind continues, man. I've been busier than usual, surprisingly, considering everything going on with the COVID stuff.
Really?
Just trying to stay safe. Yeah.
For those a lot of people actually out of the blue does his own aquarium maintenance and setup service. For those of you who don't know, how is it that you busy now? I thought everybody's holding on to their money.
No, you haven't seen his Instagram, fool. You gotta see his Instagram, dude.
I don't want to talk to you non.
I post there every day.
I don't do a lot of Instagram. I don't know. So what you got going on? What's good up there with you and your business out in Canada? What part of Canada, first of all?
Toronto. We're in Toronto.
I was right.
So, I thought you knew already. I'm always repping Toronto.
There's so many Canadians I know up there.
You don't know nobody.
I do.
I bet you if you know them, they know how to put their dang on super chat icon up. I know that much. So listen. So how is it that you're doing well at a time where everybody's hurting? What's your thoughts on that? Why is your aquarium business still is up and running, popping like that?
I'm guessing more people are just spending time at home with their aquariums now than anything. So I'm actually selling a bunch of new setups and stuff like that, more so than I would usually at this time of year. Because as summer comes around, the weather gets nicer. People are spending more time outside. So I guess with being locked down, a lot of people are spending more time with their tanks, and they figure now's as good a time as any to upgrade and spending their CERB. I guess that's like the $1,200 check you guys were getting in the States from Trump. We're getting little stipulants from the government, so people are spending that on fish gear. So kind of funny. But my regular clients, they still need me to come and take care of their tanks. The side that's hurting is the commercial side, because a lot of the businesses have shuttered their doors, right? So it's essential business only. Oddly enough, I guess I'm considered essential. So a lot of the pet stores and stuff are still open, so you can get your fish food and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But fish stores, most of the fish rooms are closed, so you can't go in and look at the fish.
So what's the majority of types of aquariums do you maintenance, fresh or salt? I would imagine salt, right?
Mix of both. The bigger tanks are saltwater, but the majority are probably freshwater, just because they're easier to take care of, right? So it all depends the level of involvement from the client too. What is it they're expecting out of it, right? If they want to be hands off and they want to spend X amount of dollars, maybe saltwater is not for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
right.
If you're willing to be patient and take the time to learn and put a little bit of elbow grease in yourself, saltwater is not that much more difficult. It's just what you get out of it matches what you put into it, basically. You know what I mean? So
right.
I like freshwater for the simplicity of things, to be honest with you. If I were to keep a big tank at home, it would probably be a large freshwater tank. Just because the last thing I want to do when I get home is clean more tanks. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So if you did have a big freshwater tank, what would it be? How big would it be? What would you have in it?
Probably like a 125, maybe a 6-footer. I could go bigger, but it's easier to maintain. And if I ever had to move that would be the easiest size to do. I've moved bigger tanks. Go for it.
I got a serious question. Have you ever set up a client's tank? And because I know you've done tanks from scratch, right?
Most of the time, the bigger projects, I'm called in to assist with one aspect of it or not, because I don't build the tanks myself.
Okay.
It's knowing the right people, and everybody's got their own area of expertise. They call on me for the design sort of side of things more than anything. So,
have you ever ran into a client that did not like the setup of their tank?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, sure. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't. Everybody's got their own aesthetics, right? They might like something that you think is ugly and vice versa, right? So you got to kind of gauge what it is that they want from the first place and just sort of, go to town with it. Sometimes it doesn't always turn out the way that they expect it to either, right? Sometimes you're working with constraints that limit what you can do with it,
Oh yeah, I never thought about that either. Yeah, right now, like if someone wanted to set up something, you'd be like, well, I can't really do what you really want me to because I'm limited on my supplies that I'm working out of my, my own place right now because I can't go to my shop. I can't do much, you know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of get that. Okay.
So what do you tell them? Set up your own damn tank, you lazy sack of ish.
Well, most of the time, yeah, basically, not really, but I wouldn't say that. But a lot of the time, it's a budget thing. They want a tank that looks like $1 million. They just don't want to spend that kind of money. You know what I mean? So there's ways to do it easier, but they want something that looks like X and willing to pay for Y and end up getting Z. So you got to kind of meet people part way, right? So
right, that's true. I got another question. I seen that one tank that it was balancing in midair. It was like it wasn't a corner tank. It was like a shifted to the left tank. I want to call it. It was like out of the wall, bro. Like if y'all have not seen it, it's out of the wall. Okay. I don't know how in the world that happened. Okay. What is the most unique tank have you seen? That was the most unique tank I've seen on your channel.
That's probably the most unique, I'd say, just because of what.
Right. Okay. All right.
I wish I could show you. I wish I could show you a screenshot of it. I don't have it on my my phone.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I was crafty like everybody else. I'm not like that. I'm I
Yeah,
just if
pull up
people
the
are trying to
pictures.
follow you and they know, yeah, people do me a huge favor. Check his channel out. I'm telling y'all, if y'all have seen the unique tanks that I've seen on his channel, you will understand. They're unbelievable. So that's the favorite. That's your most unique one you've ever actually serviced and seen.
That one I service regularly. I can't take any work put into actually installing that one.
Wow.
I brought in the tank with the background, put it on the I-beam for the guy.
Okay.
They did all the finishing work. They did all the engineering behind it. That was actually the client that owns that house. He's an engineer.
Okay.
And the guys that built the background were the ones that basically put that whole setup together from sort of just an idea that the client came up with. That's what I love about all the clients. They're crazy. They got any idea. And if you have the amount of money, you can put anything you have up here and make it a reality sort of thing. So you see some pretty wild, unique tanks, but that had to be one of them. So that was like a post with an I-beam welded onto it. And because the guy was an engineer, he was able to pull it off, get the welders in, finish it nicely. And it's not even a big tank, you know what I mean? So you can have something stunning without it having to be 300 plus gallons, right?
That was, hey, so I'm glad I hit that right on the nose, because I kind of figured, I was like, man, that had to be my most unique tank to see, not in my personal way of actually seeing it, but like in video. I'm like, yo, I can only imagine what he's thinking. Like, what in the world? What the first time you ever seen that probably took your breath away.
Yeah, I've done a lot of fun ones, man. I love the 3D backgrounds. That's kind of, can you guys see me okay? I know I just had to plug in my phone, so the lighting's changing.
So do you like 3D backgrounds, or do you like backgrounds that are you can paint on? Because Aqua is a strong believer in painting on his backgrounds. I like putting paper on the back of mine because I like to change out. But he's like, why do you always do that? And I'm like, because I don't know. It's just easier for me. So everybody has their preference. Like, I like to do it like the most cheapest DIYest way ever is the paper. He likes paint, and you like 3D. You like a lot of 3D backgrounds. I see a lot of your work.
I like the painted ones too, because it's so easy.
Oh,
and
really?
You can remove it easily. Yeah. Nothing against the paper backgrounds. I know. I always want to try something different. That's the thing. That's why I like the 3D backgrounds, and they're fairly new, and a lot of people haven't seen them.
Anybody got any questions in the chat?
That's like a finishing touch for the tank, you know?
That's true.
And it's simple.
Anybody?
A lot of the time, your time is money too, right? You could spend just as much money in material and in your time and actually trying to scape something on a large scale, or you could just throw a background in and silicone it in, a few rocks, and you're done. Like literally simple. Right. And
yeah, from I like the simplicity of it.
Yeah. And from a maintenance perspective too, it's so easy. Like no trap dirt or anything like that. The rocks get too green, you just flip them over. It's easy and it's stunning. It's guaranteed to catch people's eyes. You know what I mean? But the price is a downside. But again, depending on how much stone you're planning on putting in a tank, when you're paying for like Texas Holy Rock at $7 a pound, and you want to fill that thing full of Texas Holy Rock, woo, you'd be looking at probably the same price for a background, right? So you just got to add it up between the two.
I remember when I used to do aquarium setup and maintenance, I remember I had a big problem with looking surprised when I gave people the prices of the stuff that they asked me for, and they just simply was like, okay, for real? Are you serious? Okay, like they would ask me for some outrageous stuff, and the price to me was astronomical, and they go, okay, and I'm like, wow, like I would never be able to afford this.
I know.
Like in my head, I'm like, are you stupid? Like why are you doing so much money? But I was always surprised all the time. It showed on my face.
I'm the same way with like, I do mostly saltwater tanks. I'd say the majority of the tanks and the tanks that I keep myself are all saltwater. And I see people spending money on pieces of coral, $500, $600 for a simple little frag of a coral. And I would never spend that kind of money. So I can't imagine people spending that kind of money. Yeah. But there's people out there that are willing to pay it just because they want something that's new, that's different, that's unique, right? So at my shop, I grow a lot of coral. I frag stuff as well too, and I like collecting nice pieces, but I won't spend that money either. So
that's good. Small Fry Aquatic says, please ask your guest his favorite eye candy, freshwater fish for clients.
My favorite freshwater fish for clients?
Or at least, yeah,
a
their eye candy they want. Yeah, the most wanted ones.
I'd say a lot of cichlids, Africans. They're always a big one. And they're easy to keep, but the biggest thing with that is our water here is generally pretty hard. So it's already perfect for cichlids. So
yeah.
And you can get lots of nice ones here too, right? It's not like an availability issue, and you can get them cheap as well too if you want it, because they breed so easily. Anybody can find them on Kijiji here. So cichlids are always a nice one. And as far as freshwater fish go, generally pretty hardy and colorful as far as freshwater fish go.
Yeah. Aqua's always said that they're pretty much the most like the freshwater, the most colorful fish ever.
Yeah, when I did
it's hard to beat.
When I did setups, I would do Africans, or if they didn't want the Africans, I always could get away at barbs. I could fill a tank with barbs.
Barbs,
I could fill a tank with barbs. Saltwater, people would always. When I did it was about the time Finding Nemo, so everybody wanted those fish, and I used to have to be like, no, you can't put all these fish in this tank, and they would be like, but they do it on the cartoon. I'm like, no. So
I'm not going into it.
I'd fill a tank with like clowns and different types of damsels. A lot of the blue damsels, and then I'd give them, I'd have to do the yellow the tangs and stuff like that. But yeah, there was always a go-to setup that I gave people because they were easier for me if everything was the same.
A lot of the fish I get in are Caribbean fish to begin with. A lot of the saltwater ones anyway, at least. You get a lot of stuff just like right off the Florida coast even. Rock flower anemones, recordias. There's wild zoas that people collect that come from the Caribbean. Not as much of like a variety in the way of fish and stuff like that, but that's another story altogether when it comes to saltwater fish. It's a lot different with saltwater fish compared to freshwater. A lot more diseases, medicating's more difficult.
I didn't know how to fight.
That's another episode altogether. It's not that much harder, to be honest with you. It just requires more patience with saltwater.
Yeah, you're right.
So who are you watching on YouTube these days? Who's because I find that I go through trends like every couple months. I was like, ooh, I gotta binge watch this person. I gotta binge watch that person. Who you Letha E, how you doing? Who you watching on YouTube these days? Who got your eye?
I know Rob wants me to say Rob. To be honest with you, I don't consume a lot of YouTube content unless it's like homework or something that I'm doing. And that's probably why I'm so bad at posting on YouTube as well. The reason I post so much on Instagram, I could do it at the job site. I can take a quick little clip and just post it. Whereas YouTube, I want to have something to showcase, and I want to go through I recently started editing videos, adding music. So I want to make it decent content before it's something I upload. I can't say I really follow a lot of people. I know I have a bunch of friends that I do follow, but I rarely get a chance to watch their videos and stuff like that, unfortunately. So that's why I like these live ones. It's a good way to just catch up with everybody to see what they're doing, because I rarely get a chance to actually sit at home and watch YouTube videos.
So this arena that we in right now is pretty much freshwater. Everybody in here has freshwater tanks. I mean, they might dabble in saltwater here and there. What do you find it difficult to get views when you flip flop back and forth from fresh and salt? For
YouTube and specifically, or
YouTube specifically?
I just post stuff that I like, to be honest with you. If other people like it, perfect. I'm posting something that I enjoy and I enjoy doing and I want to share with other people. Sorry, I had a phone call. Can you see me okay?
We're good.
You still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I was on my phone.
You're all good.
The sounds, can you guys hear me though? The sound looks a little off.
No, we can hear you.
You're good.
What was I saying?
You post what you like. I'm curious at what this comment is. I'm new to this guy. Someone's writing in a thing. I'm new to this. What aquarium styles? So I guess somebody's asking all three of us what aquarium styles do we like, or what types of fish that we like, I guess. So, Rob, you the host. What you like?
What do I
They say
like
they're
as far
new.
as I don't know as far as the style meaning like
You
black
like what
water,
kind of
tank,
fish you keep?
freshwater, saltwater. Like I like all fish. I don't know what that's a. I
What you
don't
got him
know.
up
You
behind you?
can't ask me that question. I don't know it
Turn around.
unless you be specific.
Turn around. Now explain. That's what they want to know. What kind of fish we keep?
I keep everything almost.
Okay, so he likes small cichlids, South Americans, Central
I
and South
got
Americans,
angelfish,
and he
otters,
dabbles in.
I got white
Yeah,
cloud minnows, I got barbs, I got betas, I got limias, I got flower horn, I got rice fish, I got I got a lot.
What about all right? What about you, Keith?
What fish do I keep?
At home. Your preferred fish.
I have the smallest tank that I kept at home. It's just like a little shrimp one. It's a Fluval Flex 8-gallon. I didn't want something I had to clean when I got home, so low maintenance was the thing for me. Oddly enough, I don't do a lot of planted tanks. I'd like to start doing more of those as well too.
Wrong
So
answer.
you like
fool.
nano tanks?
I'm not a huge fan of nano tanks. I just don't have room for a big one at my place.
Oh yeah, I keep centralist angels primarily and small cichlids.
Still
Have
some
you
of
ever
my
kept
favorite
an
fish. I think I
octopus?
use angels in most of my clients' tropical tanks.
Have you ever kept the octopus? HCI
Or seen a client with the octopus.
I have.
I've seen octopus at my wholesalers, but I've never kept one. They're difficult to keep for one, and they don't live long.
Yeah.
They've got short lifespans, maybe like 2 years at the most.
I had a cuttlefish I kept.
I've seen those before, actually. Those are cool.
Yeah, they was. I kept him for a year, but he ended up dying. I had to put a chiller on it.
Color?
The cuttle. We call it the cuttlefish, but it's the It was the one in the shell. In the shell.
Oh, like a nautilus.
A nautilus, yeah, but it was always came in and they called it a cuttlefish. This was back in 2000. A nautilus, yeah.
Never kept a nautilus either. If you were to go an octopus route, you need a special tank for them as well too. So that's the other thing, because they can crawl out with anything that their eyes will fit through. They can squeeze right through.
I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with keeping the water cold.
Oh, that's another thing too. Yeah, I guess it depends on the species that you're keeping.
No, ma'am, I don't.
That's for the nautilus or for the
for the nautilus. For the nautilus. For the nautilus. I had to keep the water cold.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
I don't know if they talk about something crazy.
Oh.
Why you turn Keith off?
He did it himself.
He done kicked himself off.
I didn't do nothing. I did nothing. Oh, there he goes. See, don't.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second. I can hear you better now. I lost the sound when somebody called me on my phone.
Yeah, we do that it happens. Okay, good. Glad we can hear better now. So I'm glad that Diva already asked that question. Right here, as soon as you got right here, she was like, how as expensive are fish in Canada compared to the US? How do they differ?
It's a good question. For fish, I guess what are we comparing it to? What kinds of fish? Like saltwater fish?
Well, that's true because there's two sides of it because you do both. Say a barb is $2.99 here. What would be the price up there?
I would say generally everything is more expensive because when you buy fish, you're paying US dollar to import stuff. So when it comes here, automatically, depending on what the exchange rate is and the cost of doing business here, it would have to go up. Plus, I'm assuming the cost of business here is just more because the market's not as big as in the States.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I know, Letha, right?
Don't worry about it, Miss Leaf. I appreciate it, though. It's the thought that counts.
I wanted to be the first one to give you a super chat, sucker.
I know. Don't worry about it. It's all good. No, I'm not doing the super chat, y'all. I'm not doing the super chat. We got a special guest here, y'all. What up, Jay? How is y'all? Hey, shout out to all those people who celebrated Biggs' birthday. Shout out to Biggs. He is 29. He turned 29 20 times. Yeah, that's shout out to Biggs. They was celebrating with Biggs over there. And Miss Cookie came up with a Hawaiian J. Do you know what a Hawaiian J is, Keith?
No, I never heard of it. What's a Hawaiian J?
Well, it's funny because she just made it up and it did sound funny. So now we can come up with the new one. I'm going to start saying Hawaiian J for everything. There's a fly in here.
What is a Hawaiian J? I want to know.
Hawaiian J is something she made up so we can put a purpose to anything. Like, man, that's so Hawaiian J, bro. Come on now.
Oh.
Like, you know, she came up with something new. So shout out to Miss Cookie for that because I think they were loopy. So they were just talking and they was having fun and they were celebrating for Biggs, you know, his birthday of turning 29 20 times again. So yeah.
Dila.
You will not be the first person to super chat, Rob. I will. See, now everybody's thinking that I'm the Hawaiian. See, look, that's what Aqua thought it was at first.
That's what I thought it was too.
Questions? I know Aqua probably has some more questions, but anyone else has some more? Does anyone else have any good questions? Because I know he will. Just one. First one right here. Bite out. And that is actually apple juice, sir. It's apple juice.
It's apple juice. Okay. So, all right, Keith.
Mm-hmm. Nobody else has any questions. I was full of them.
Huh?
You're full of questions. Go ahead, bro.
So, are you that little just for people who think that they might want to do a maintenance business? You don't do it out your house, do you? You have an office type warehouse thing going on?
I had a warehouse. It was like a fish room, but I would have liked to do retail. Retail is too expensive though. And because I do mostly service, I'm not there most of the time to help customers. So I wanted to set up a place to quarantine fish and to sell coral, show off custom displays. So if a client wanted to set up, I could bring them by, show them a bunch of different displays, get an idea. And it was more for convenience for my clients that I had the space to begin with. I would have liked to do it all, man, do cultures of stuff and breed fish and everything, but it's a ton of space, a ton of money. I couldn't upgrade all my lighting and everything like that. So I actually moved to a new location just recently, just to keep mostly the saltwater side of things going, because that was making me the most money.
Yeah. And you work, and that's your sole job, right?
Yeah, full time. I've been doing this for 10 years full time now.
Mm-hmm. So for people out there that think they might want to get into the aquarium maintenance business, what advice you have for them?
Take whatever you can get, man. Eat shit for a couple of years and take on any job and learn whatever you can. Find other people that are doing the same thing and work with them to learn as much as you can. For a lot of people, they try to just bridge the gap, right? Like they do it on the side, but it's never quite enough to be able to jump in with both feet and do it full time. So for a lot of people, it's just a hustle. It's a good side gig for a lot of people just to do because they keep their own tanks and it's good coin on top of whatever it is that they're doing. I was lucky enough to just fall into this, to be honest with you. And you make sacrifices to work for yourself, right? Either you're unhappy working for somebody else and you just complain about it, or you're going to do something about it and take that leap and just, go all in basically. So
see, that was kind of like me. I fell into it when I did it. I didn't intend it to happen, but I got to a point where it was like, you need to either do this full time and quit your job and take a hit for about a year or so, or you need to stop doing this and pay more attention to your job. And being as I never knew anybody that had their own business, and my family, we just work until we die. Honestly, I got scared and I just kind of gave it up and just continued to work normally. But it was very successful. I wasn't prepared for it. You know, like I said, it wasn't on purpose, and it just took off, and I was like taken back. I was like, oh, I didn't sign up for all this. I was happy, you know, that I had that opportunity, and it was, but I wasn't. I was scared to quit my job, you know. So now looking back at it, I don't regret it, you know, because that was right before, you know, the recession, and that would have probably been the first thing that people stopped doing. You know, they're like, "Oh, we're not paying for that." But then again, I also wonder, like, what if I would have kept up with it? What would I be then? You know?
True. We got OG Cooper in the building.
You can take on the side gig now, right, and make some extra dough doing it now, even.
I'm already busy.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard when you got responsibilities. You got mouths to feed. You got a roof over your head. You got to make X amount of dollars, right? And is it going to cut it just doing something that you enjoy, right? We do what we do for our family and stuff like that. Oddly enough, I'm a single dad, right? So the reason that I got joint custody with my daughter in the first place was because I worked for myself and I could make my own hours. So I got 50-50 custody with her, where most fathers, when they go through something like this, they're lucky to see their kid every other weekend.
Yeah.
So because I worked for myself, I was lucky in that respect that I could keep doing what I'm doing and take care of my daughter at the same time. So that was the big bonus for me. I almost don't have a choice, right? So I'm just sort of going with the flow and making the best of it, because I guess I got my priorities in order, right? I can always make more money doing something else in the future if I decide to do that, but I enjoy what I do and I have the time to spend with my daughter, which is, I guess, first and foremost right now. So
that's what's up, man.
What do you got in the back there anyway, Funk? What are you working on there?
Oh, those are my angels. I was just trying to show Dila sent me some refrigerator magnets, and I was trying to show I have one up there. But what I'm working on, honestly, I'm working on apartment living fish keeping. I still got tanks I need to put up. I have them. They got everything in them except for water. And I know, Rob.
Don't rub it in. So Teresa said Candy's mod flat rate is $25. Dang. Ow, that's steep.
Candy
charges
$25. Yeah.
Woo! That's expensive. That's expensive. Hey, she's worth it.
You pay for what you get what you pay for. You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
I do a big paludarium, like RLC, the one that he made. I think that'd be pretty cool. Have something like that in your house with like the aquatic plants and tropical plants and a small aquarium section.
I gave RLC that tank.
Oh, did you? It looks nice, man.
Hey, Rob, I forgot to tell you. By the way, the pump that he's using, that came from Rob. So RLC.
You gave him that pump, fool. You're supposed to use that.
I couldn't use it. I'm in an apartment now. It's not like I go open up the window on the third floor and have water just shooting out the third floor window.
That could have been an easy water changer.
I had a Python. But yeah, that paludarium, I remember. Here's out here. I wish he was here, but he works until like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So here's how that got started. Okay, RLC, the first time he came over my house when I had a yard, I had this 29. Well, I started out with a 55, and it was outside. And to be honest with you, I forgot about it. I never messed with it, and stuff just lived in it, right? I took it to the new place. I moved to another place, and I had a 29-gallon that I had guppy grass and just random stuff in it. And I had forgot because it was way on the side of my shed, which I never saw. And honestly, God, I forgot about this tank, and I didn't feed the tank. I didn't water. I didn't change the water. But it was underneath a tree, and it was in Florida, so the rain would just take all these different things and just drop them in this tank, and all the plants would oxygenate the tank. And he came over one time, and he saw this 29 sitting there, and he's looking in it, and he's like, "Oh my God, like this thing just lives by itself." I was like, "Yeah," and the fish are like, they're growing like a lot. It had scuds in it, it had snails in it, it had mollies that were multiplying. It had all kinds of stuff growing in there, and he was like amazed by it. And then I did the 250-gallon pond, and he was like, "How come you don't show it?" I don't show a lot of stuff. I don't know why. I just don't.
You suck. That's why. How many times did I tell you? I was like, "Yo, you have 8 different things you've never shown."
Yeah. So that paludarium that you saw, it's actually a Zoo Med 40 breeder lizard tank.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah, well, it didn't have a lid, and so I took the door off, and I had it as a waterfall. The water would go into the tank, and then it would fall into the 250, right? Well, when I moved, I didn't have nowhere to put it, so I gave it to him, and he made the paludarium out of it.
He collected all that stuff for the tank himself too, eh?
What? All that stuff? That stuff?
All the plants and stuff. I think he just collected them locally, didn't he?
Probably. I can't remember. I think he has some stuff that he might have bought, but I've seen all those plants grow wild. I don't know if he actually did it, but yeah.
It's a good way to do it, man. Work with what you got. I do that too, man. I'm out on walks with a dog or something like that. I pick up pieces of rock that I think look interesting or a nice driftwood, bring that shit home, man.
Yeah, word.
I always have like a build or something in mind for it. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
I want to get into a lot of more of those though. The vivariums and the terrariums, water features, that sort of thing, man.
I used to do those back in the day. I had a problem. I didn't like mold.
You get a lot of that inside?
Huh?
You get a lot of that growing when you do it inside, or?
Well, not in my home. It's natural process when you have wood and heat and bacteria and water and humidity. You have weird stuff growing where the wood meets the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it always was like, and you would see creatures in the dirt, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it because it was open.
Yeah, they got to be bioactive. You need all those little isopods and stuff in there to help break down all the waste. It's natural.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. I
hear you. The problem with the water area and a lot of those, I always wonder how they do it and keep it looking so clear. But it's all fake when people take pictures, right? It doesn't always look that nice, right? Yeah. They just make it look sharp for the photos. They don't have a lot of water flow, right? It's all just stagnant water. So
I don't know. All I know is when you have all those things put together and you start having weird stuff grow, which I guess if you was a science geek, that would be cool. And it's cool to me too, just not in my house. Like you know what I mean? But I just don't want bugs growing in the dirt and stuff.
You need to keep a fan over those as well too, because the humidity gets too high and it's worse. And depending on the type of the wood and stuff that you're getting as well too, right? A lot of it's just going to rot away in the tank over time. Yeah. So there's certain types of wood that you can't use, right? Like if you use cedar or something like that, it's going to leach sap all into your water. Same with an aquarium.
I mean, it was cool. It's cool at first, but after it gets established and it starts creating, it turns into its own monster, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I get bored of things so fast. It's always like on to the next one. What else can I try? I want to do something different, right? It got to the point where I ran out of room to put tanks in my shop. It didn't make any sense. And unless I could flip them and make money for it doing that, I wouldn't have the money to fund another project anyway. So I got to do like the cheapest thing possible and just use tanks just to build something for shits and giggles, throw no more than maybe like $200 or $300 into it. Just for the heck of it, and then if I could sell it for anything, even better. At least I got content out of it. You know what I mean?
Pat got a great question. Pat says, "How do you deal with algae blooms during the first week?" And as people who pay money, they don't want to hear about it takes time to cycle. How do you work?
They don't want to hear that. Yeah, they don't.
You're talking about salt water?
Any of your tanks.
Any aquarium.
Any
Yeah,
of
any
your
aquarium.
Any of your customers.
It's always
tanks.
patience, man. It's about finding the balance. I always compare aquariums to like your gut. You need all kinds of bacteria. You know, algae is going to be normal at some point, right? But usually it just goes through a phase, especially with salt water. So
Well, what do you tell your customer when they say, "Hey, I want you to put up a tank. I'm coming over Friday," and you be like, "Okay, here's all the stuff. I'll be back in a couple weeks." You know what I mean? It's gonna be empty. I'm paying you for an empty tank. So what do you tell them?
try to deal with it naturally.
Yeah.
Cleanup crews, you know, your autocats, your plecos, anything that's like a bottom feeder with saltwater, your cleanup crews, your hermits, your snails. It's all
No, I'm
just
talking about
part of the ecosystem.
Initial setup. The average person is not gonna know. They're gonna think, "Oh, I'm paying this professional. He's coming on Friday. I'm gonna have a fully stocked tank on Friday," and then that's not the case.
That's not the case.
How do you talk to them through that? Like, how do you explain to them?
How do you explain that to them?
Yeah. They just gave you a buttload of money for.
That's the thing. If their expectations are out of reach, I'll just tell them I can't help them. Like, I'll take your money and leave, but I'm not going to be there the one to clean up your mess after the fact. You know what I mean? So people that want to throw 20 fish in their tank right after a week of just filling it up with water, I'll tell them right off the bat, add as much bacteria, do as much water changes, test your water. If I'm not there to do it for you, you don't follow my advice in the first place. It sucks, but you know what I mean? Don't say I didn't warn you, basically. So that's why you got to let people know what they're getting in for and what to expect when they do this in the first place. So again, it's expectations, right? So that's the hard thing, is dealing with people sometimes. Taking care of the fish is one thing.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with the clients is another story altogether, right? So
yeah, that's the worst part of it. That was the worst part of it for me.
Somebody wants to throw a tang into their 20, 30-gallon tank. Good luck. I don't recommend it, but I can't stop you at the same time. You want to go against my advice, so be it, right? But they want it all sometimes, right? You can't keep all this nice coral and stuff like that and have a heavily stocked tank without taking certain measures into consideration, or a fair amount of time and effort into it as well. So are you going to pay me to come in and clean it every week? Or do you want to just get what you get out of it with a monthly service sort of thing? Yeah. And either pick up the slack yourself, or this is what you can expect from your tank. Mm-hmm. That's why I always preach the keep it simple sort of approach, right? So if this is what you want from the outset, I would maybe set the tank up differently for you so that you can, extra filtration, so that sort of thing, maybe automatic water changes, drip and drain systems, that sort of thing, right? But
for the stress-free people,
say what?
For the stress-free people who don't want the stress of actually taking care of them, you say auto water changers.
Automatic water changes, yeah. You have the tank hooked up to a drip, so it automatically overflows into a drain.
So is that what you would say for those who are saying that they want it to be self-efficient, easy for them to do everything with just a flip of everything, like a flip of a switch? Is that majority of your clients, or do they want to do it? They want you to come out and do it.
They want me to come out and do it. Most cleanings are just a good solid water change, and it depends on what the water. Test the water, and that'll tell me how much of the water I need to change.
Okay.
If I can't keep the parameters in check, maybe either come more frequently, do a bigger water change, or fewer fish, or there's like add-on equipment and that sort of thing too. There's other options to deal with things, right?
Yeah.
Nutrient export, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Throw some pothos in there. Set up a refugium.
Hey, this fool loves pothos. He loves he swears by it. Yeah. If your nitrates and stuff is high, throw nitrates or throw pothos in there. I don't care. I was like, okay.
It's easy, bro. It works.
I remember there was this one tank, and it was a 75-gallon fancy goldfish tank at a hospital waiting room, right? And it had 2 canister filters on there. I forget what type of canisters. It was 2 of them. It was way more filtration than it needed because I knew they was having goldfish in there. I had it on a timer, the lights on a timer, and I had a two inline UV sterilizers, right? And auto feeder, and I had an auto feeder, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I come into this tank, I'd come in, and I had the temperature, down at its minimum temp for the goldfish, and there were times where I'd go into the place and I'd have to ask the receptionist, "Has anybody been maintenance in this tank while I'm gone?" Because there was nothing wrong with it. Literally, it was so perfect. Because I used to go every week. Every week I would go to some, my locations, and they was like, no. So I was like, oh damn. So I'd have to like pretend to do stuff, what I mean, to keep, because if I didn't go there, I couldn't justify charging them. So I'd just be in the water, just like I didn't do that. But the cool thing is I didn't charge them in initial setup for the UV sterilizers and the timer. So they would always be like, after a while, people would be like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna try and do this ourselves. Okay, no problem. You can keep all your equipment, and I'll take my auto feeder, my UV sterilizers, and my timer. And they would always call me back a month later.
And just turned into a mess.
It turned into it. Now, I did not charge them for those items because I wanted to make my life easy,
Yeah, for sure. No, it makes sense.
So I would take those things. I would be like, okay, this is mine. You keep your stuff. And they always call me a month later. But it costs more because now your tank is in disarray. So now I have to give you an initial, emergency, cleaning charge. I didn't do it on purpose. I just got tired of being screwed over.
Time is money, man. Yeah, the UV sterilizers work wonders. I don't even recommend goldfish. We have like a lot of Asian population here in Toronto. They love their goldfish. But they're such messy fish, man. You want your tank cleaned once a month?
That's why I did the two big canisters.
Goldfish aren't probably your safest bet, right? So you got to kind of gauge what it is people want to spend on maintenance as well, too, and how much, if any, work they're going to be doing on the tank as well. Sometimes it's just easier to pick the fish for them.
Yeah. And it'll probably be easier on you if it's a larger amount of water than a smaller tank. When you go there, you're like, dang, man, it's been a month and this tank is like down to here. And, there's, you got to do a massive water change. You can't really do one because it's already a small amount. But I understand that one.
I usually go in, I do a good water change, alternate cleanings on the filters. I always swap out the plants because the plants are the first thing to get dirty. The problem with maintaining other people's tanks is you can't control how much they feed their fish. That's the biggest problem.
That's why I did auto feeders.
Yeah, and they leave the lights on all the time. Yeah. Or even if you set it onto a timer, they'll mess with the timer. They'll keep the lights on 12 hours of the day, and then wonder why their tank turns green.
You know what's funny?
They don't want to spend the money on a UV sterilizer. They don't want to spend money on extra equipment, right? So you're just trying to kind of work with people to keep them as happy as you can. Like, it's frustrating. That's where it comes in. Dealing with people is more hard than dealing with the fish.
Yeah. There was a saltwater tank in the hospital I work at, and she goes, "Hey, I know you watch fish stuff and you love fish and all that. Something's wrong with our tank. We have a lot of green stuff on our surface of our tank." And I go, "Okay, let me check." And I go, "Whoa!" And this is like a 230, or 220. It's a saltwater tank, so they have weird dimensions and they have weird, sizes and stuff. And I go, "Well, ma'am, when's the last time you turned off that light?" And she goes, "Well, it's been broke. I think the timer's broke. I don't know. The cleaner will be here tomorrow." And I go, "Ma'am, that timer has been on 24/7 for however long. It's been broke." He comes in and he goes, "Oh my goodness, what's wrong with my tank?" So do you take personal attachment to that tank, saying that's my tank, don't mess with it? Like you feel like you have everything, like Aqua was saying, like, that's my tank. How did it get messed up? Was it not being serviced? Did y'all overfeed it? Did something go wrong? Did the lights go out? What happened? Do you take a personal attachment to them?
Yeah, I like you were saying before, Funk. Sometimes you got to spend more time to get the tank back into shape, sort of thing. And I take care of my clients, so I take that on myself. Like if it's an extra hour, sometimes I just got to eat it and just do what needs to be done rather than try and charge them extra for whatever happened that caused this in the first place. There's no sense in pointing fingers at them, right? Or you just end up losing the business, right? It's all about keeping people happy at the end of the day, and that's what keeps your business going, right? So, but yeah, sometimes you gotta, be like, I gotta talk to you for a minute. We gotta address some things here. I know it's not going exactly the way you expect it, but these are some things that we could work on, so and so forth. Maybe put a little more money into this sort of thing. Let's run some more chemicals in your system. Dosing if your corals aren't doing well. Maybe run carbon or something more frequently. Like, these are little things that are going to cost extra. That like, some clients I build them right in the first place. It's not an issue, and I love those clients because they give you carte blanche with the system, right? You're getting paid well enough that you do whatever needs to be done. If it means an extra cleaning, so be it. You come in, you take care of it. They call you up. It doesn't matter if it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's your clients. You go in and you take care of business. You don't have to ask them to go and run, Purigen or something in the tank, or to throw in a UV sterilizer. That's all that's all just added in to basically the cost of a monthly maintenance contract, right? Where you're going in every single week. They pay you enough that maybe some month you're not going to be making as much money, but the system's taken care of, which it's continued business.
Larry D had a good question. How hard is it to keep seahorses?
Larry, what's up, bro? Actually, to be honest with you, I've always wanted to try. Hey, you know what? I had one of the saltwater tanks that I had at the shop. I was growing macroalgae and stuff in that, and I was keeping mostly inverts in it, and I still have that tank. I moved it over to the new location. I was going to do like a macroalgae tank. I was actually going to try to keep something different, right? Another one was maybe a frogfish or something, but I haven't actually kept seahorses, so that might be interesting.
I've kept seahorses. The problem I have with seahorses is the filtration. Like, even if you had to hang on a back filtration, is trying to get the proper filtration without blowing them all over the tank.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing,
I had with water current. That was my problem.
If somebody wants to set up a saltwater tank, I always ask them, well, what do you want to keep? Do you want it to be a fish-only tank? Do you want it to be a reef tank? Is there a fish that you have in mind? I always ask them that you wanted to keep specifically. Because if it was something like a seahorse and you go and you just set up the tank and then find out that they wanted to keep seahorses, you're like,
yeah,
that was a big mess on my part. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea that this is what you wanted to build. You got to kind of design the system around.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always tell people, like, if you got one fish that you want to keep, if it's like a big Nassau tang or something like that, or if it's a predator fish or something like that, stock the tank around that one fish. What's compatible? What can you keep in the same system with it?
That's exactly when I used to run pets fish departments. I was like, what's the one fish you have to have, if nothing else? The one fish. Then you go from there. Don't pick a bunch of fish first and go, I'll think about it after. You're starting up a tank. One fish you have to have.
You gotta play off of that one fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of hobbyists, they'll take it upon themselves to learn like the requirements and compatibility issues, feeding requirements, like system size requirements.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your consumers, they just make stupid decisions on the go, and they don't think about it, and they end up regretting it after the fact. And then all of a sudden you've got, an aggressive fish in your reef tank that isn't even coral safe. He's eating everything in sight, and he's like, I just paid $300 for this fish. I'll give him to you for $100 just to get him out of here.
I like the aggressive. If I did salt water again, I would have to have like a 300-gallon with triggers and lions and
a big fowler. I
love
saltwater fish y'all want to get rid of that are predatory. Send them to Aqua. He has a whole setup for them ready to go.
No, I don't have a setup. That's the problem.
Mr.
Whereabouts are you in Florida anyway?
What's that?
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you in Florida?
Tampa.
Okay. You can't just go and catch fish off at the beach, and bring them home?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He has salt water everywhere around him.
That's what I figured, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fish right off the shore that you could catch.
Actually, where I live at is pretty cool because there's fresh brackish and salt all in this area because all the rivers, you know, like the Hillsborough River, they all dump into the Chesapeake Bay, the Tampa Bay. So you have, you know, within an hour you have all three different types, you know, from one end to the other, all three types of water that are just, you know, full with life.
Like a kid in a candy store. I saw the video of you out there swamp stomping with your galoshes on.
All right.
So,
What's up,
Mr.
Rob?
Keith, we appreciate you so much, man. It's going on 5 minutes till 8 o'clock. Like I said in the beginning, he did this in the drop of a hat. Like he said yesterday, he would be there. He would be there, and he was. I appreciate you, man. I know a lot of people have been running his link. Please do me a favor and do that again. Aqua, you have anything you need to say, man, and for anything at the closing of this?
You gonna put it on me like that?
I mean, I'm just saying, everybody, we saying our final pieces. Oh, not like that, dude. I could say it if you want me to.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, Aqua is starting to channel his inner chi himself. So he's going to be doing another live stream on his platform.
Not right this moment.
Not at this moment.
It's in the works.
Yeah, he's taking some time, and he does not want to sit here and get kicked out of his house by Mida for doing so much with YouTube. So he is going to take a break from doing the Wednesday live streams with me. So we will be having a new co-host next week. I haven't found out who yet. I'm still going through a list of people, but we will have a new co-host. He will be coming in and out. We might have him on a hot seat or something like that. So everybody, great stream, guys. Nice stream. Everybody there. Everybody's just dropping it. But yes, he will be doing a new live stream on there, and I'm looking forward to it. So for those who are going to be over there, make sure you do check it out. Anything else you need to say, bro?
No, like I said, like I said, I'm not doing this live stream right away. I got things, you know, that I got to prepare for and in the works. But you know, it's just you know, adding an extra video per week and all that stuff is time consuming. So I'm gonna have to step away from doing Wednesday chat. So, but I still be in the chat, just not on the pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to join the chat next time. It's like an hour already, man. That flew by.
Yeah.
Flew by, man.
You want to see the little tank? The lights are still on.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, let's see the tank before we leave.
End it off on a good note. This thing fly, bro. It's gonna die today.
The fly.
It's gonna fly away.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Hey,
hold on. Let me
pop that up, Rob. Put it up. Put it up.
Ooh.
What type of tank is that?
The little Fluval Flex.
And it has a 3D on it.
Yeah, I got custom backgrounds for these little guys, man. I wanted to
little
try
it
one
is,
out.
man.
This was the perfect.
What are you stocking? What's in there? What's in there fish wise?
Just little cherry shrimp. I set this up just as the COVID thing started, so a lot of the fish that I can get for this tank to go with shrimp, I can't get a hold of. So they got to be like those little rice shrimp or rice fish. Otherwise, they eat the babies of the shrimp. But I had never kept shrimp before, so I wanted to try something different. So
okay.
You got fluval substrate in there?
yeah, actually, it was just something I reused from the shop.
Nice. Yeah, that tank is put together.
Same with all the plants that came out of my bigger 3D background one. I took them all out of the wall.
That looks good.
Yeah.
That looks good.
That looks legit. All right, everyone. I think SC is going after. Is he not? I need the 411. I think so. But much love as always. We'll see you next week. Take care. Be safe. See y'all.
Thanks for having me on, Rob. Later, fun.
You know it, man.
Peace, guys.